What's up, guys, and welcome back to The Life of Pi. I am your host, P. Young, and this is a podcast on movies and television. Tonight, I'm doing 2 episodes to wrap up the What We Do in the Shadows Season 4. And starting next Monday, I will be having a guest co-host for the next series that we're covering, which is Season 5 of Yellowstone. And these episodes will be recorded live on YouTube every Monday following the new episode of Yellowstone. My buddy Matt will be joining me. He's a big fan of it. He turned me on to the show. It's a great show. And just a reminder, after the Yellowstone is wrapped up and we finish that up, I will be moving to just strictly movies. And again, it's just to make the content better for you guys. It's easier for me to pump out these episodes for you with better content. If I'm just focusing on just one thing instead of movies and television. Movies are just easier to get through versus TV shows. I love TV shows, but they require a lot more time, and with work and life and everything, I just want to focus on one thing and one thing only, just so I feel the content is better for you guys going forward. So, lots of cool movies lined up. Like I said, the first one we're going to be doing is Twilight. We're going to be covering the Twilight series in 2 parts with my sister-in-law. I'm super pumped about that one because she asked to do this. I didn't think she ever would, so I'm really, really pumped that she's coming on, and I can't freaking wait to talk about it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So, before we get there, let's wrap this up. What We Do in the Shadows, episode 9 and 10. Episode 9 is Freddy. So, the episode starts off, Naja's club, it's hopping, there's lights everywhere, they're not letting the ugly vampires in, and they hire human celebrities. Human celebrities start showing up. Sofia Coppola shows up, actually is there, which is, her dad's a very famous director, obviously, as we all know. The lead singer of the band, Phoenix, his name is Thomas Marr. There's another guy, I forgot to write his name down, but he's a well-known director, according to the show. And basically, she brings celebrities in to be killed. They get their heads ripped off, and people are drinking their blood, and it costs the vampires $5,000 a piece to do it. And basically, at this point, Baby Colin Robinson just refuses to go on stage because Laszlo puts up a contract and goes, yeah, we're not performing without a contract from now on. So they draw up a contract. Naja refuses to meet their demands. And basically, they leave. They take the show on the road, as he says. So they're sleeping at hotels, taking bus tours and stuff, and basically just going around Jersey and New York, up and down the turnpike. And it's just freaking ridiculous. And back home, well, actually, no, I skipped over. Guillermo's boyfriend, Freddy, hence the name of the episode, shows up from England. It's a guy he met from the end of Season 3, as you remember. Guillermo was basically sent over to England with Naja, just because Laszlo didn't want him around, basically, and wanted someone to keep Naja company. He met Freddy, a nice young guy. He's like an antique guy. And Freddy, of course, shows up, surprises him at the house, and instantly Nandor is intrigued by this guy. And Nandor is bored with his life. So basically he takes a piece of Guillermo's life and basically has his wife transformed into Freddy. Looks, personality, just everything. It's just a really weird thing to do, but it's also hilarious because it's such a Nandor thing to do. So Guillermo is unaware of this completely. So Guillermo and Freddy go off to New York City to spend the day in the city doing things together. Unbeknownst to him, Nandor does the same thing. He has a list that Freddy wants to do of New York City, so they run around and they're all very close to each other, doing all this fun break dancing and going to see shows and shopping and restaurants, and they're just in New York City for the weekend. Guillermo's in love, he's infatuated. Nandor's in love and infatuated with the same man. It's so weird seeing the different. It's the same guy, but it's the way that they're interacting. Guillermo's is more smitten. Nandor's is almost more like he's entertained by this kind of thing. And basically, it gets to the point where that sorry, lost my place. Okay. So basically we get to a scene where Baby Colin Robinson and Laszlo are on the road. And basically he's on the phone and comes back in the hotel room and sees that Baby Colin Robinson is no longer a baby. He's an adult. He's trapped in it. He's an adult with a kid's like mindset, if that makes sense. Kind of like Benjamin Button, if you guys get that reference. So he's going through puberty, so his voice is changing. He has acne now. His clothes don't fit him because he grew like 1.5 feet overnight. And now he's going to shows and singing and performing. He's not doing good. People are booing him off stage. And so Naja's club isn't doing well that Baby Colin Robinson is gone. He's the main attraction. It's not going good at all. So she hires, I think it's Mike McDonald, I think, plays this circus clown. It's like some circus people from like the olden times. And he's the entertainment for the night, only he could show up instead of the whole circus of people. And turns out that he's just a clown that sucks his own dick. Excuse the language, but it's very weird, and it lasts like 15 seconds, and then that's it. So people are just so irritated and just so angry, like, what is this? And basically, like, and then we flip back over to the house, and Guillermo is coming into the house, and he hears Nandor and like rustling around the house, and he walks in on Nandor and his Freddy, and he's like, oh wait, I'm confused. Freddy was just in the car, and he goes, I made my own Freddy. And so he finds out that there's 2 Freddys, and the Freddys meet, they hit it off, they're very good at charades. And then it's basically like at the end of it, Nandor sends his Freddy away, and then Guillermo's goes back to England, and then Nandor sends his away, which is basically Marwa as Freddy. And of course, Naja's nightclub is still not doing good. They're doing like kid tryouts, like they're trying out little kids to perform. I think they tried like a stand-up group or something. She tried like 3 or 4 different things, and she's drinking drunk people's blood, so she's making bad business decisions all over. And then the episode actually ends with Guillermo flying to England to surprise his Freddy. You know, to surprise him, like, oh, you know, he'll love this, he doesn't know I'm coming, I've taken vacation forever. And unfortunately, he runs into his Freddy with Nandor's Freddy, and they're not together. So now he has lost his first love of his life, his first actual real boyfriend, and it's funny and really sad at the same time, and Nandor just doesn't understand why Guillermo is so angry. So that's pretty much number 9 in a nutshell. So we'll jump into number 10, which is Sunrise, Sunset. And so we open up like Baby Colin Robinson is just an angry teenager. He's got the acne. He's got a weird little hat. He's listening to angry, loud rock music. He's a half kid, half adult. Still hammering holes in the wall. Naja's club is basically, it's in the toilet because there's no entertainment. She said we've downgraded to like bachelorette parties, kids parties. They tried to have a vampire freestyle rap battles. Those got too violent. And like again, like I'm not giving you the best visuals, but if you see the show, it's so damn funny. The rap battle ends with like 2 dudes jumping onto the stage together and like trying to eat each other. Even Matt Berry, as Laszlo starts performing. And, you know, I'll tell you what, Matt Berry, if that's actually him singing in this show, he's actually got a pretty damn decent voice, if I might say. So hats off to him, because if that's really him, good for you, because he sounds pretty damn good. And so we find out that the guy tells Naja she has a plan to kind of save the club. And so basically she goes, oh, well, I have this thing, like I own the souls that I own, I can bring back to life with this like potion. And I was just like, okay. She goes, I have the second best one in the country. And she goes, who is the best? She goes, oh, some computer guy. So she pulls out like all this stuff and then brings back some famous piano player, and so basically Naja's whole plan and the guide's plan is to bring back famous people for their entertainment. They're only around for 24 hours, and then they go back to their liquid form, and then you can bring them back. I think that's how it works. They didn't really explain it too well, but it's still really damn funny. Then we find out, we go back to the house, and we find out that Baby Colin Robinson has stolen Sean's car and driven it into a pond. And they don't understand why he's doing this, and he gets angry. He's like, you guys can't tell me who my parents are, why I grew half a foot overnight, why I'm so angry and moody. I want to put holes in the wall, not punch holes, punch holes with the hammer in the wall. And basically they start arguing. And Sean basically stops him, and then you see a quick flash of the blue eyes, which means the energy vampire of baby Colin Robinson is starting to turn back into Colin Robinson. So basically, Laszlo has no choice. Him and Guillermo basically tell him, he's like, look, you're an energy vampire. This is who you are. This is who you were. He's like, I understand how this happens. And Laszlo's like, I don't really understand it either. That's just the way it works. And basically, he kind of like, okay. And so, you know, Guillermo struggles, and we have Guillermo struggling with being alone around the house. Nobody really needs him anymore. Baby Colin Robinson's grown up now. Naja's never really there. Nandor's wife is gone. Marwa is gone. His boyfriend is gone. So Nandor's like, I'm just going to read books for the next 15 years. And so Guillermo's just like, why am I even here? You know, like, what am I doing? I'm just losing years of my life hanging out. Which, you know, you would understand if you were promised something like he was promised to be a vampire. He's been, it's what, 4 years just on this show alone where he's promised to be a vampire every season, and it never happens. Which is honestly some of the funny stuff. There's always a little weird made-up excuse why it just never happens. And so basically it comes to the point where Naja has to fire, and the nightclub goes under. Is basically getting ready to go under. And so she fires all of the wraiths and sends them to the Universal Studios in Orlando. Which is a cool thing. They kind of show you where they're going. It's Universal Studios Orlando, like up on a little bus stop thing. And so basically they show it on video that she lights the club on fire to try and collect the insurance money. Then we flip over and we see that Baby Colin Robinson has made a discovery in his bedroom. And he finds like some kind of picture or something that leads him to punch holes in walls in a certain area. And it brings him into like a secret room behind his room, which is all of Colin Robinson's stuff, his diaries, his receipts, his clothes, the glasses, the shoes, the vests, everything that makes Colin Robinson. He discovers it, looks very confused. Then they flip back over to the nightclub, and we see that nothing in the nightclub is burned down. The nightclub is still there. The only thing that burned was Naja's office, where she kept all of her money that she was embezzling from her own company. And of course, the reason nothing burned down is because the blood sprinklers have worked for the first time. They've tried to use them in almost every episode of the season, and they never work. And so the one time they work, they're not supposed to. So Naja thinks she's going to collect insurance money for this, and the guy goes, well, it depends what kind of insurance she has. She goes, well, I didn't know I had to file it or whatever. So there's no insurance coming in, and they blame Guillermo somehow, which is still pretty damn funny, for the whole freaking thing. And so Naja is lost. It loses everything. And then basically we get Colin Robinson back. So that's awesome going to next season. It's going to be awesome to have him like full-fledged back. The baby Colin Robinson thing was pretty funny this season, but I'm ready for Colin Robinson, his character. I'm ready for that adult version back next season. So he basically tells them, he goes, we have money like $645,000 in the account. And of course, Guillermo, he's like, I need the PIN and the account numbers and everything. So he tells them. And basically, Colin Robinson's like, I'm going to take over the repairs of the house because it's fun to boss people around. And Laszlo talks to Colin Robinson about, all the stuff they did when he was a kid. He goes, I don't remember anything. He goes, I remember being sick, falling asleep, and then waking up, and then coming to reading my diary. So everything that happened for this past season, for the past year, Colin Robinson remembers none of it. Laszlo is heartbroken. And then the episode and the season ends with Guillermo moving out. He moves out again. But this time it looks like it might be for good. He's pretty just disappointed with just everything that's happening. He's kind of over, his life in the house going nowhere, not being needed. No one really cares he's there. And then he ends up taking he empties the bank account, all $645,000 some change or whatever, to his buddy, the night clerk, Derek, who's a vampire, at a gas station, and gives him the money. And Derek goes, "What's this for?" And he goes, "You're going to turn me into a vampire." And that's the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go along, like follow the storyline next season. So I'm excited to see how they're doing that, because I know that they're filming it right now from what I heard. Kyle Newcheck, who's one of the writers and directors of the show, said, they're filming right now. So I'm excited to see when it comes out. Unfortunately, it'll probably be 6 months to a year before it comes out with the way things are coming out right now. So I'm excited to see where it goes, if Guillermo actually gets turned into a vampire, if he moves back in, and just kind of how everything is going to unfold in Season 5, because I hope they keep growing the show. I think the show is so damn funny. I've watched it through probably 2 or 3 times now since it came out. It's a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed my recaps. I've enjoyed doing them. And like I said, starting next Monday, we will be starting with Yellowstone Season 5 with Matt. And until then, as always, I've hoped you've enjoyed your slice of pie.